Hello. Today I will be talking about the strongest skills in Path of Exile, and a vast majority of these skills will likely continue to stay the strongest skills in Path of Exile, despite any future buffs or nerfs, because their strength comes from how the skill functions versus the numbers behind it. Now, when defining what makes a skill a strong skill, there is pretty much only one thing that you should be looking for, and that is screen coverage. The reason for this is because in the current state of softcore Path of Exile, damage is irrelevant because pretty much any of these skills, given enough investment, will do more than enough DPS to kill everything in the game. So realistically, any POB DPS number over 10 million is irrelevant for any non-Delirium T16 mapping, and it becomes all about how many targets you can hit. And while you may be saying, what about bossing? I would say some of these skills are also very good at single target, given a high budget. But if they aren't, and you think you want to repeatedly farm bosses and not just kill them one time for Atlas progression, I would suggest just making a additional bossing character, as I don't think I'm alone in thinking this, but bossing only makes up roughly 5 to 10% of the time that I spend farming in PoE. Thus, focusing on a good bossing build isn't the right economic choice. That being said, here is a semi-comprehensive list of 48 skills that I would consider good out of the roughly 200 active skill gems that are currently in the game. Thus, these skills represent the top 25%. Now, out of these 48 skills, there is roughly 6 different reasons why these skills are good compared to the other 150 that didn't make the list. The most common reason is the amount of base AoE a skill has, or the amount of coverage a skill has. An example being, I rate Discharge an 8 out of 10 skill because the skill scales both damage and AoE the same by getting max charges. This is different than pretty much any other caster-based skill in that normally these builds will require an investment of 10 to 20 passive points and or multiple gear slots to make a skill's AoE big enough to be considered usable and or feel good. Another example of a skill with strong base coverage is Tornado Shot. I rate Tornado Shot a 10 out of 10 skill because it scales extremely well with multiple projectiles, and projectile speed isn't necessarily needed as the base amount of projectile speed that the skill has enables a 360 degree hitbox around your cursor. The other 5 reasons these skills make the list are some of these skills can be used while moving, thus clear speed is faster, and you can move out of bad stuff at the same time as doing damage, which is the case for Cyclone and Stormbrand. Some skills make the list because they have built-in multiple projectiles that either shotgun or just have baseline better coverage than other skills. Skills like this are Forbidden Right or Exsanguinate. Some skills make the list by having built-in chain, which can smart target mobs that straggle behind, such as Arc or Spectral Shield Throw. Some skills make the list by having built-in Vengeance Cascade, in that they have returning projectiles. Thus, if mobs spawn around you, like when you're doing an influenced map or a beyond map, you can keep moving around the map, and the projectiles will essentially keep doing damage as they follow you while you move. The last reason skills make the list is due to smart targeting, where you really don't have to aim, and all you do is run around and stuff dies around you. Skills like this are Volatile Dead and Ray Specters. All that being said, while I would agree that some of these skills on the list are not good league starters, and some of these skills will require a lot more investment to get to 40 million POB DPS to steamroll even 100% Delirium maps. If you are a true gamer and plan to play the PoE leagues for 1 to 2 months at least, I would suggest picking one of these strong skills to invest in heavily, as you will receive the biggest bang for your buck by playing them, as it is the peak power fantasy potential that is currently in the game. So, if you have any comments and questions, put them in the comments, and I'll get to them. Thanks.